It's the Lekker Rugby Pod, only on Megaphone Rugby.
And you tell me about what you think of Scotland's chances. I asked the question whether two Gregor Townsend oriented and they're stuck in their ways, flying, Aussie schoolboys in from France deep, Pro D2 level and the likes. What's going on at Scotland?
Well, firstly, they've lost Sione Piloto to injury, which is a huge setback. He's their captain and their best player, at least on form anyway. And they've also lost Steve Cummings in the second row, who's a massively underrated player, in my opinion. Pretty much the only player there who was giving them the bulk that they need. Um, it's funny, with Scotland. I did a poll on YouTube where I asked which Six Nations coach is most under pressure, and Gregor Townsend finished bottom of that. He only got 6% of people said that he's the coach under most pressure, which is odd because what are his excuses for not winning anymore? If you take the Glasgow URC champions team, add into that Finn Russell, Blair Kinghorn, Duhan van der Merwe, Darcy Graham, you got a pretty good team there. There's a lot of cohesion there. There's not much inexperience there. There's razzle dazzle. So what is it? What's stopping you? And then if you spin the question around, and would Scotland have done better with a different coach? It's difficult to answer that they would have done much worse with a different coach. And yet, for some reason, the pressure, the sort of Damocles, never seems to fall. So
Mm.
Scotland, I think, because of their injuries to such star players, I think they are going to be middling again, the Six Nations. But the time has to come when you have to ask, what is stopping you from going from 3 wins to 4 wins?
Mm. Scotland's an enigma, isn't it? Because so they have the ability to win the Calcutta Cup over and over and over again, most of the time as underdogs. You think of them as a razzle-dazzle team with Finn Russell being the swashbuckling guy, but they were the team least that went beyond the first receiver least in the Six Nations. So the ball gets to Finn, and then Finn does things. Sometimes it's cross kick, sometimes it's kick. He kicks a lot. And so there's that flaw or erroneous belief. Yet, when you were looking at the Lions team and you were thinking about the Lions, there was a potential that the entire back line was Scottish, maybe save one. Before Sione got injured, you probably would say it was Finn, Sione, Hugh, Duhan, Kinghorn probably gets in there somewhere. Darcy's in the conversation. And they're definitely in the match day 23 to conversation. And so then you wonder, so why was their points differential nil for last year? And so you keep thinking that the highlights fool you. The highlights of a Gregor Townsend team can fool you because when push comes to shove and it's really like squeaky bum time, like in Marseille, nothing happens in the World Cup. When you really, really need to get across the line, then you fizzle. And so there's this over and over again lament. I guess Scottish fans have accepted it and they get, as long as you make England sad, we're okay. And they're also kind of just a happy bunch and they have built-in excuses. Gregor is the most successful long-term Scottish coach that they've ever had. So he always gets to say that, my winning percentage is blah, blah, blah. But then again, they pad that a little bit with their summer tours. And I don't know why they don't get the ball to their most dangerous people more often. A lot of the tries they score, the worldies you see Duhan go through, it's not from an actual designed play. It's all very scrappy. And then sometimes Hugh Jones just makes up breaks that don't seem designed. But he's just that good. He's hard to tackle. So it's underwhelming. For some reason, they don't seem to worry too much.
I want to ask you about the Franco Smith factor. You mentioned about Gregor Townsend, looking supposedly safe. What's the talk about Franco maybe taking over as Scottish coach? And I'm telling you right up front, I've got an interest in that because I want him to come to the Bulls.
I think a lot of people want Franco Smith right now. I think a lot of people in Wales want him to replace Warren Gatland. There was a story today that Leicester Tigers might want him, although that seems to be pure conjecture. I think a lot of people want Franco Smith, and I think there's a very, very strong case to say that Glasgow Warriors under Franco Smith are the best coached team in the URC, which is saying something when you're in a league with Leinster. He's done a phenomenal job. Identity, innovative, not afraid to take risks, big fan of the 6-2, to the point where he would rather have 3 academy hookers on the bench than play a 5-3. He's that I play the 6-2, that's what I do. And you got the likes of Tom Jordan, who he's managed to turn into this absolute world beater. Could he go to Scotland? Look, if Scotland have an incredibly middling Six Nations, everybody will be calling for Franco Smith to be promoted. Now, apparently, he has said that he's not interested in taking over Test rugby again. But I think he's got his pick of jobs, honestly, at the moment. I think he could ring up a fair few Test teams and pretty much any club team and say, I fancy being your coach. And there's not many who'll turn him down. I think he's brilliant.
It's the Lekker Rugby Pod, only on Megaphone Rugby.